senior leadership of FTCCI, invitees, guests, first of all, my heartiest congratulations to all the award winners. Not only have you done yourself, your country proud, your company proud, but you have also made all of us here in the state, in the government in Telangana, very, very proud of your achievements. So please keep it up, and let us hope that whatever you have done becomes a model for everyone else. Others also follow your suit and emulate yourself. I would also like to congratulate FTCCI for recognizing the good work which happens in our industrial ecosystem. All of us are aware that after the new state of Telangana has been created, the government has devoted lots of effort and attention in creating a very conducive industrial environment. And whatever the hard work which we did in the first few years, that is really reaping dividends for all of us. In fact, no single day passes when we are not interacting with some new investor, some prospective investor. So, and most of the times when we talk to a new investor or a potential investor, we always encourage them to talk to our existing investors, because while we can say all kinds of things, what is actually happening on the ground will be best reflected by the existing people. And our Honorable Chief Minister, Honorable Minister, they keep on telling us that more than anything else, you can advertise, you can publicize, you can print glossy booklets, brochures, but the existing industries will be your biggest brand ambassadors. And I feel so happy and so proud that everyone who comes from outside and talks to our existing players, they get doubly assured about the positive policies of the state, the good quality infrastructure, the supporting government. The best example was during the COVID period. In fact, just now someone was telling me that despite the pandemic, our industrial performance did not stop at all. Actually, it has grown much more than the previous year as well. So my compliments to all of you for keeping the reputation of the state intact, for actually enhancing our reputation and becoming very good, very positive role models and brand ambassadors for us. I would also like to congratulate Mr. Bhasker Reddy and his team. I know that his tenure will end very shortly, but he has done a great job. Particularly during his tenure, I noticed this, that lots of focus was given on industries which are into exports. Lots of discussions happened with all of us on how we improve the export competitiveness of Telangana, what kind of support is required from various government bodies, including Government of India agencies. During his tenure, lots of international partnerships were also forged, and I do hope that the incoming committee will build on all these good initiatives. One thing which I forgot, but I must mention it, during his tenure, a course on EXIM, on export-import activities, was also started, which helps now the state in generating a good amount of talent and manpower to support the export-oriented unit. So as I said, I do hope that the new committee also will build on all these good initiatives, and they will add their own new ideas and new thoughts in collaborating with the government. So once again, warm wishes and greetings to all the award winners, and thank you very much for inviting me for this function.
Andariki namaskaram. Honorable President of the FTCCI, Bhasker Reddy garu, Gauranilu Gaura Srinivas garu, Gauranilu Senior Vice President Anil Agarwal garu, Gauranilu Vice President Mila Jayadev garu, Gauranilu Khyati garu, Veena garu, my Principal Secretary of Industry, Commerce and IT, Shri Jayesh Ranjan garu, to all the winners of the FTCCI Excellence Awards, and to the respected members of the jury, to the friends from media, both electronic and print, and to all the dignitaries gathered here. I congratulate all of you, and I compliment all of you on taking the time out and attending this prestigious event. And thank you for having me. Gauranilu Bhasker Reddy garu, he had touched upon many things. I think, firstly, I'd like to respond to a few of them. Bhasker Reddy Garu had mentioned about how Telangana is viewed as a state which excels in ease of doing business, but we also need to look at few other facets to continue to remain competitive, to ensure that our industry continues to grow, continues to thrive, and continues to compete the best in the country. Before I respond to that, I would quickly like to, take you back to a few years ago. When the state of Telangana was about to be formed in June 2014, I would urge you all to think of the then situation with respect to the industry back in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Back then in 2014, I remember very vividly, the very MSMEs the SMEs that Mr. Bhasker Reddy had mentioned were having a really tough time in the state of Andhra Pradesh. In fact, there were 3 days of power holidays in a week, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. The situation was bad. Normally, we see politicians and political parties doing hartals at Indira Park at Dharna Chowk. But there was a time in 2012 and 13 when the industry itself also had to do a dharna and hartal, demanding that power be given, bijli be given, even if it means, at a higher cost. We are willing to pay, but please provide us quality power, was the demand of the industry. But if you look at it now, I think Telangana is by far the only state in the country which was able to provide you 24 hours of quality power supply even in the peak of summer in the last couple of years, especially even in the middle of the pandemic. More importantly, if you look at it, not only for industry, but also for domestic sector, and also free power, 24 hours of free power to the farming sector, that makes Telangana very, very unique and very, very ambitious also, if you ask me, because in per capita consumption of power, we're right up there. Number 1 in the country in terms of per capita consumption of power. So let me also point out to another thing. Back in 2014, I keep saying this, there were lots of doubts, apprehensions कि क्या होगा तेलंगाना में, क्या होगा हैदराबाद में, इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन कैसे आगे बढ़ेगा कि पीछे जाएगा, will there be flight of capital? A lot of people were hypothesizing कि यहाँ से capital कहीं और चला जाएगा क्योंकि यहाँ बिजली नहीं है और पता नहीं ये गवर्नमेंट कैसे चलाएंगे, etc., etc. But today I'm proud to share with you, happy to share with you, when I hear Mr. Bhasker Reddy speak, when I hear Mr. Gaura Srinivas speak in such glowing terms about the government, about Industries Department, only one man needs to be credited for that, and that is our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri KTR Garu. But for his tenacious efforts, but for his resoluteness, but for his ability to keep all of us on the toes, I don't think the state of Telangana would have been taken as seriously as it is. Today, wherever I go in the world, wherever I go in India, जब भी नाम लिया जाता है इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन सेक्टर में कि प्रोग्रेसिव स्टेट्स कहाँ पे है हिंदुस्तान में, तो बहुत गर्व महसूस होती है, बहुत फख्र महसूस होती है इस बात का कि तेलंगाना के गिनती के बगैर टॉप 3, टॉप 5 में कोई लिस्ट ऐसा नहीं है आज हिंदुस्तान में, especially when it comes to ease of doing business, which does not include the state of Telangana. So I think it's a matter of great pride, great happiness and great pleasure for all of us. पहले नाम लिया जाता था कि गुजरात है, महाराष्ट्र है, कर्नाटक है, तमिलनाडु है. These were traditionally considered the manufacturing states, traditionally considered the states which know how to engage with businesses on a world stage and possibly do their best. But today, wherever I go, हम लोग रहे या ना रहे वहाँ पे, हमारे मौजूदगी में नहीं, बल्कि even when we are not around, the state of Telangana is mentioned with respect, it is mentioned with great deal of affection, and we are talked about everywhere in the world. In fact, I keep telling a lot of overseas investors, जब भी हम बाहर जाते हैं, US, UK या कहीं भी दुनिया में, हम बस यही बताते हैं कि आप बहुत ओवर सिंप्लीफाइड कंपैरिजन करते हो. यू ऑलवेज मेक दिस ओवर सिंप्लीफाइड कंपैरिजन ऑफ इंडिया एंड चाइना. लॉट ऑफ ओवरसीज इन्वेस्टर्स डू दैट. A lot of people think India and China similar size in terms of population, or a lot of other similarities as well. So therefore, they say कि चाइना में business ऐसे होता है, तो इंडिया में ऐसे क्यों नहीं होता है? I only tell them one thing. I tell them China is a very homogeneous country, but India is not. India is a very diverse nation. India is a very heterogeneous entity. India is a country where everything changes every 150, 200 kilometers. The language, the dialect, the cuisine, the culture, the eating habits, the way you do business. In fact, I tell lots of these overseas investors that India is more like Europe. It's not a unitary entity like China. It's very diverse. I keep giving the example of Jayesh and myself. I keep telling them कि Jayesh भी Indian है, मैं भी Indian हूँ. But the language Jayesh speaks at home, the native language, versus the language I speak at home, are as different from each other. Hindi and Telugu, possibly as different as English and French. इतना फर्क है. और मैं जब कहता हूँ दुनिया से कि हमारे हिंदुस्तान में 22 ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेजेस हैं और 300 से ज़्यादा अनऑफिशियल लैंग्वेजेस हैं और इतनी डाइवर्स हमारी नेशन है, लोग ताजुब हो जाते हैं, लोग परेशान हो जाते हैं कि वाओ, we didn't know it was so diverse. The point I'm trying to make is, I keep telling my overseas investors कि your experience of India will hinge on the gateway you choose to enter India through. Please do not think of India as New Delhi or Bombay. India बहुत बड़ी है और India बहुत diverse है. अगर आप ये मान के चलो कि अगर आप डिसाइड करते हो कि बिहार से या उत्तर प्रदेश से मैं अपना इंडिया में एंट्री करूं, तो आपका बहुत अलग एक्सपीरियंस रहेगा. अगर आप ये डिसाइड करते हो कि तेलंगाना से एंटर करो, तो बहुत ही अलग एक्सपीरियंस रहेगा. ये मैं बहुत बार बोलते रहता हूँ. And the reason why I say this very confidently is because of the empowerment led by our, that has been given to my department and to this government by our Honorable Chief Minister. He gave us TSI Pass, which allows me to tell every investor all over the world कि आपके सारे clearances मैं 15 दिन में दे दूंगा, वरना 16वां दिन, on the 16th day, it's a deemed approval and backed by statute. No state in the country will tell you this. It gives me the ability to tell any investor across the world कि self certification हमारे यहाँ है. जैसे किसी को right to information दिया जाता है, जैसे किसी को right to education दिया जाता है, हमने हमारे investor को यहाँ पे right to self certification दिया है कि कोई भी investor अपने आप को self certify कर सकते हैं कि I am in compliance with the law of the land and I will start my enterprise on day one without seeking any clearance from the government. No state in India will tell you this. What you see is what you get. So this is the statutory backing. This is what empowerment truly means in terms of legislative backing, and that has been done by our Honorable Chief Minister. Ease of doing business की rankings जब से निकली हैं इंडिया में, भारत सरकार और वर्ल्ड बैंक जो मिलके देती हैं, Telangana has always been on the top, except for one time where we were slightly lower. And even yesterday, day before when they released it, we are now one among the top performers in the country. मुझे तो ये शक है कि हम लोग नंबर 1 पे थे, वो कहना नहीं चाह रहे थे, इसलिए उन्होंने 4-5 राज्य और जोड़ दिए हमारे साथ और बोले कि आप सबके साथ क्लब में हो. उसमें गुजरात भी है, वो अलग बात है, मैं ज़्यादा नहीं बोलूँगा उसके बारे में. बस इतना ही कहूँगा. एक चीज़ तो ईज़ ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस है, ईज़ ऑफ एंट्री है, बट उससे भी ज़्यादा अहमियत रखने वाली चीज़, उससे भी ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है पीस ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस. कि गवर्नमेंट की दखलंदाजी, गवर्नमेंट की इंटरफियरेंस जितना कम हो उतना ही अच्छा है. जब हम लोग बना रहे थे TSI पास पॉलिसी, तो हमने तय किया कि इससे पहले जो रेगुलर इंस्पेक्शन होते थे फैक्ट्रीज डिपार्टमेंट के, लेबर डिपार्टमेंट के, बॉयलर्स डिपार्टमेंट के और कई सारे और डिपार्टमेंट, पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड के और कई सारे अलग अलग डिपार्टमेंट के, हमने उन सारे चीज़ों को जोड़ दिया. हमने कहा कि अगर आप कर रहे हो इंस्पेक्शन तो साथ ही करो. एक बार एक डिपार्टमेंट जाएगा, एक टीम जाएगा, फिर वो इन्वेस्टर को बार बार इंस्पेक्ट करोगे आप, ये अच्छी बात नहीं है. तो वी हैव मेड दैट वन प्रोविजन. ऑल्सो वी हैव इंक्रीज्ड द नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स यू हैव टू रिन्यू योर लाइसेंसेस. पहले 1 साल या 2 साल में था, डिफरेंट डिपेंडिंग ऑन द कैटेगरी ऑफ बिजनेस यू आर इन. we have increased that time window also. But more importantly, पिछले 8 साल में मैं बहुत गर्व के साथ कह सकता हूं, तेलंगाना में कहीं भी एक जगह भी कोई यूनियन की तरफ से या कोई इंडस्ट्री की तरफ से कहीं भी क्लैश या लॉकआउट करना जरूरी नहीं पड़ा, कहीं भी उसकी जरूरत नहीं पड़ी। तो बहुत बड़ी बात है। हम देखते हैं वेस्ट्रॉन करके एक फैक्ट्री है बेंगलुरु में, उसमें आग लग जाती है क्योंकि वो मैनेजमेंट और वर्कर्स के बीच में थोड़ा दरार था, फ्रिक्शन था, could not be contained, and then it led to an situation where 300 plus crores of valuable goods were lost. It's not just about loss of money or loss of some enterprise value. It's about loss of face. It's about a foreign investor going through that rough period where he is not sure or she is not sure कि क्या हो रहा है. We see lockdowns and lockouts elsewhere in the country also. I don't want to name names, but आज भी मैं ये भी गर्व से कहता हूं, आज भी अगर आप देखेंगे पिछले समर में गुजरात में भी पावर कट थे, गुजरात में भी इंडस्ट्री को पावर हॉलिडे दिया गया, बट तेलंगाना में हमने नहीं दिया. बहुत गर्व के साथ एक बात कहना चाहता हूं मैं. So that is what Telangana has done in a very, very short span of time. We have made sure that we gave you the basic infrastructure, the peace of mind of doing business, and अगर आप 3 शिफ्ट भी चलाना चाहते हो बिजनेस तो आप चला सकते हो. That sort of a thing. And government really has not poked its nose where it does not belong. हमने इन 8 सालों में, मैं यहाँ मंच पे खड़े होके सबके सामने with a lot of confidence I can say this, we have not harassed any investor, we have not fleeced any investor, we have not indulged in any corrupt practices in the last 8 years. No government official or minister must have harassed you in the last 8 years. That is Telangana for you. Now, peace of doing business is important because as an investor, when you have put in a lot of resources and effort, the one thing you want is that government should become an enabler. Government should support you in whatever you do in terms of wealth creation. Because एक बात से दुख होता है. Wealth creators and entrepreneurs in India are not respected. Entrepreneur, in fact, बहुत सारे मेरे दोस्त ऐसे हैं जो लोग कहते हैं कि entrepreneur बनना इंडिया में एक तरह से एक शाप है, क्योंकि हर कोई आपको शेख की नज़र से देखता है. अगर आप एक कैपिटलिस्ट कंट्री जैसा अगर यूएस है, वहाँ पे every wealth creator is celebrated. If somebody becomes, a successful story overnight or over a period of, within a short span, they are celebrated, they are looked up to. In fact, their stories are talked about. But in India, अगर कोई कम वक्त में entrepreneur बन जाता है और कुछ हासिल करता है, पहली बात तो उसके बारे में शेख के नजरिए आप people start doubting you कि क्या किया इन्होंने, कौन सी शॉर्टकट इन्होंने पकड़ ली, इनके पीछे कौन है, ये सब कुछ चलता है. तो इसीलिए जो आप काम करते हो, in spite of all these challenges, I compliment all of you, especially all of you who have come here. I compliment all of you. I think you deserve a big round of applause, because no matter what I say, the fact is, you guys create way too much more employment than all governments combined in India, state governments and central governments. Because government by themselves can only create so much employment directly. We can be enablers. We can give you an environment where you can thrive, which is conducive for you to grow, which is conducive for you to compete on a global scale. Not only peace of doing business, quality of doing business is also equally important. तो अगर आप कोई इंडस्ट्रियल पार्क हैं जहां आपकी यूनिट हैं, वहां की क्या इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, वहां के रोड्स कैसे हैं, वहां की पावर की सिचुएशन क्या है, वहां की पीने की पानी की हालत क्या है, वहां की सीवरेज ट्रीटमेंट कैसे चल रही है, ये भी बहुत मैटर करता है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्योंकि आज आपके कोलैबोरेटर्स बहुत सारे लोग दुनिया के कोने कोने से आते हैं. People come from all over the world. Today's business is not confined to India. You have service agreements with various people across the world. So when your overseas partners are coming to visit your unit, you have to spruce up. जैसे हम लोग कोई मेहमान आ रहा है हमारे घर तो थोड़ा साफ कर लेते हैं, थोड़ा साफ सुथरा रखते हैं. तो वैसे ही I think between Jayesh, me and FTCCI and all of you, we also have to ensure that the quality of doing business also is improved. I know we have a lot of ground to cover on that front. I'm not blind. I know कि बहुत काम बाकी है, करेंगे जरूर. साथ ही साथ जो भास्कर रेड्डी जी ने कहा, cost of doing business is also important. We have to ensure that the cost of doing business doesn't become so high that we go, we don't remain competitive across the different states in India. I request FTCCI to work with government, tell us and guide us कि हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं to remain competitive, to remain better than our competition. मैं बस 4 राज्यों को seriously हमारे competitor मानता हूँ. महाराष्ट्र, कर्नाटक, तमिलनाडु and Gujarat. These are the 4 states we actually compete with. बाकी हैं, but they're not so progressive in terms of industrialization. So my request to you, let's benchmark ourselves against these 4 states कि उनकी पावर की तारीफ क्या है, हमारी क्या है, ओवरऑल क्वालिटी ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में उनका क्या हाल है, क्यूमुलेटिवली हम कहाँ पे हैं, कॉस्ट में, क्वालिटी में, ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में और पीस ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में, क्यूमुलेटिवली अगर आप देखेंगे तो हमें बेहतर रहना चाहिए ताकि हम कॉम्पिटिटिव रहे और इन्वेस्टमेंट अट्रैक्ट करते रहे. और जयेश ने जो कहा, एक सबसे बड़ी बैरोमीटर ये है कोई भी स्टेट के लिए कि उनके पॉलिसीज, उनकी जिस अभी मैंने 4 चीज़ जो गिनाया, कॉस्ट ऑफ डूइंग, ईज ऑफ डूइंग, क्वालिटी ऑफ डूइंग, ये सही रास्ते में है कि नहीं, इसको परखने के लिए वहाँ की जो एग्जिस्टिंग इन्वेस्टर हैं, वहाँ के जो एग्जिस्टिंग इन्वेस्टर हैं, वो अगर रिपीट इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं तो सबसे बड़ी कॉम्प्लीमेंट हमारे लिए वही है. क्योंकि चीफ मिनिस्टर हमारे KCR जी कहते हैं कि योर बिगेस्ट ब्रांड एम्बेसडर इज योर एग्जिस्टिंग इन्वेस्टर. अगर वो खुश हैं तो 10 और लोगों को बोलेंगे वो जरूर. In fact, I'm proud to share with you, like Jayesh just mentioned, more than 24% of our investments into the state of Telangana in the last 8 years are repeat investments, are expansions and repetitions. Now that is a remarkable number. It's a remarkable number because in today's world where we live in a very competitive environment, and also to juxtapose the fact that people were talking about flight of capital from Telangana when the state was formed, to ensure that 24% of your investments are repeat is no mean feat. The other thing I'd tell you quickly, which again was mentioned by Bhasker Reddy garu, the district industrial centers, DICs as we call them, in all districts are functional, are active. In fact, we also have facilitation councils in each district which work with the small, medium, micro entrepreneurs, and we do a lot of work with them. When it comes to industrialization, you're absolutely right, Bhasker Reddy garu, that most of the investment is coming to Hyderabad and its surroundings. एक तरफ से अगर आप देखेंगे तो हैदराबाद हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ी स्ट्रेंथ है. कभी का एक बार ऐसा भी लगता है कि हमारे लिए थोड़ा वीकनेस भी है, क्योंकि हैदराबाद इतना सेंट्रल है जियोग्राफिकली तेलंगाना में. कोई भी कोना, तेलंगाना का कोई भी कॉर्नर, यू कैन रीच विद इन 3 to 3.5 hours. सो क्या होता है, जब मैं भास्कर रेड्डी जी से या यहाँ के FTCCI मेंबर से अगर कहता हूँ कि आप इन्वेस्ट कीजिए हमारे आदिलाबाद में, या आप इन्वेस्ट कीजिए हमारे कोत्तागुड़म में, या गदवाल में, या वनपर्ती में, आप ही लोग वापस आके मुझसे कहेंगे सर थोड़ा मुश्किल है क्योंकि हमारे मिडिल मैनेजर जो है वो जाना नहीं चाह रहे हैं. हैदराबाद इतना अच्छा शहर है, इतना अच्छा मतलब यहाँ का सोशल इंफ्रा है, तो वहाँ जाना मुश्किल है. Typically that is the response we get. But there are sectors of course which can definitely be used in terms of decentralization of industrial activity, because I think it's important. Decentralization is extremely important, and decentralization is the only way we can ensure that Hyderabad continues to remain attractive, continues to remain decongested here, and continues to grow and be the economic backbone for Telangana. We have Warangal, which is the second largest town in Telangana. In fact, I'm happy to share with you that several IT companies have made a choice of moving to Warangal and starting centers in Warangal. Cyient, Tech Mahindra, Genpact, Mindtree Consulting, and several others. In fact, some local companies like Softpath, Quadrant, all of these companies are setting up a significant base in Warangal. We are talking to many others who will also hopefully make the announcement soon. We've also, in fact, as a government, have not only set up a T-Hub in Hyderabad. T-Hub is the world's largest incubator. We are all proud of it. And in fact, I've asked Jayesh to take the entire team of FTCCI once so that we can actually host you there, show you there, and also make sure that we work in tandem to explore synergies understand how we can do things better, how we can innovate better. We have not only created a tea hub in Hyderabad, we also have created plug-and-play infrastructures in about 5 different Tier 2 towns in Telangana. Nalgonda, Khammam, Mehboob Nagar, Nizamabad, Warangal of course, and Karimnagar. These are the places where we've already created buildings with more than 50,000 square foot of space. Each of these buildings is full. And trust me, in Khammam we are already expanding. We are adding another 75,000 square feet. All of these are IT hubs where you have IT companies, small and medium, and also where you have the task center, we have a T-Hub regional center for skilling and for innovation also. We want to expand, we want to continue to grow. We've recently had some good success in taking a company called NTT Datacom to Adilabad. We also want to take more and more companies to even Mancherial, Ramgundam, Suryapet, and other places as well, Vanparthi and other places as well. I urge you to work with us in ensuring that decentralization happens. It's important for the state, it's important for the nation as well. But what is going to be a credible business opportunity for those of you who are in manufacturing is, as you all know, Government of Telangana has completed the world's largest lift irrigation project, Kaleshwaram, in the shortest span of 4 years. You know, the world's largest project being completed by the youngest state in India in the shortest possible time is again a no mean achievement. It is something that we are truly proud of. Kaleshwaram has created 45 lakh acres of irrigation, and now with Palamuru Rangareddy lift irrigation and Sitarama lift irrigation, we will be, hopefully in the next 1.5 years, you will see blossoming as it is, you're already witnessing it. You'll see 5 revolutions unfolding right in front of your eyes. Of course, the green revolution in Telangana with agricultural exports and agricultural produce, in fact, going through the roof. And इतना ज़्यादा हमारा agriculture production हो गया, especially paddy में, कि Food Corporation of India ने भी हाथ उठा लिया, बोला कि हम नहीं खरीद पाएंगे आपसे. इतना ज़्यादा हो गया output यहाँ की. और green revolution हमारे आँखों के सामने, it is unfolding right in front of our eyes. The second revolution that is unfolding right in front of our eyes is inland fisheries. With Mission Kakatiya, the 46,000 lakes and tanks in the state of Telangana have been rejuvenated. And today Telangana is the #1 state in inland fisheries in the country. This is not my report. This is the report of Government of India. We are the #1 state in inland fisheries. There is that blue revolution that comes with fisheries. Now, we have plans to set up aqua hubs across different reservoirs that have been built. For instance, in my district, in Sirsila, we have built a beautiful 26 TMC reservoir. For those of you who are not familiar with TMCs, Hussain Sagar, जो हमारी tank band है, वो 1 TMC है. 26 times that we have created in my district. 50 times that we have created Mallanna Sagar, very close to Hyderabad again, in Dubak. Konda Pochama Sagar is 15 TMC. So we have created nearly 164 TMCs of reservoir capacity from in between Medigadda, which is in Godavari, from there till Konda Pochama Sagar, which is in Gajwel. All of these have become now beehives of activity, not just for irrigation, drinking water, but for inland fisheries as well. So those of you who are interested in aqua, certainly many opportunities to set up industries in this space. And that is the blue revolution, the second revolution. The third revolution that's unfolding right in front of your eyes again is the dairy revolution, the white revolution, milk revolution. Telangana government again has been giving a subsidy of 4 rupees per litre to all dairy farmers to encourage dairy as an activity, as a supplement to augment your income which that you generate through agri, to improve rural livelihoods. As a result, our Vijaya Dairy, which was a loss-making corporation of the state, today is giving a dividend back to the state government. And a white revolution is also unfolding right in front of our eyes. The fourth revolution is because of this initiative of Government of Telangana to improve livelihood opportunities for the Yadavas, the sheep grazing community in Telangana. Our sheep number has more than doubled. again, this is not my statistic, it is the union government statistic. As a result, meat processing industry, which is otherwise also known as pink revolution, also has a huge scope, and again, a lot of meat that is produced here can be exported to the rest of the country and rest of the world as well. So meat processing industry is the fourth sector. Pink revolution is what it is called. And the fifth revolution, that's again unfolding right in front of our eyes. We were dependent on other countries for edible oils. But now with government of Telangana's focus on oil palm cultivation, we have an ambitious target of wanting to bring more than 20 lakh acres under cultivation for oil palm over the next 5 years. Our target for this year is about 5 lakh acres. And when the oil palm, starts producing results, and when we can generate edible oil, palm oil, from this cultivation, that is called yellow revolution. So 5 revolutions that I just talked about: green, blue, white, pink, and yellow. All these 5 revolutions are unfolding right in front of our eyes, and that gives you the opportunity to set up industries in food processing sector across the length and breadth of Telangana. That is where I urge FTCCI, and I met with some very young entrepreneurs also. I urge those youngsters, and I urge companies like Dadu's to also start thinking about setting food processing units across the state of Telangana. And I'm happy to share with you that we've already gathered 10,000 acres of land, which is readily available for consumption of industry, and we are calling them the Telangana State Special Food Processing Zones. Like how you have SEZs, we are creating special food processing zones where you will be given not only land, but also other incentives to set up food processing industries in the rural hinterland of Telangana. And that goes back to what Bhasker Reddy garu was saying. He was saying he himself is a product of Kamareddy Dairy College, right? So there is a huge opportunity for anybody who's in the food sector to start thinking big, to start planning big, and to start coming out with bigger ideas. If you need more details, of course, my friend Jayesh Ranjan is right here. Now, on the point about industrial incentives, I'm completely in agreement with you, Bhasker Reddy garu. In fact, we have gotten significant budget allocated in this year's budget for industrial incentives. Unfortunately, for the last couple of years, but for COVID, we would have been almost on par, in terms of our delivery of incentives. But this year, I assure you, we'll make it more structured, we'll make it more eventful for all of you, especially the MSMEs. I completely agree with you, sir. The MSMEs are the guys who actually need our support. We'll definitely ensure that they are given the priority. The last one that he mentioned was about strengthening the Chamber of Commerce. What happened in Dubai, your experience in Dubai, etc. I'm a firm believer that, being a federation, being a chamber, definitely will help you in resolving a lot of issues. Normally भी आप आके मिल सकते हैं, आप कोई chamber में हो या ना हो, आप कोई association में हो या ना हो. But when you come and meet, it will be looked at as somebody coming to meet me. I mean, when you come to meet the government, as somebody with a vested interest coming in and pitching their own agenda. But when a chamber comes forward, when an association comes forward and pleads on behalf of the industry, it is a multi-stakeholder kind of an engagement representing the cause of the entire industry and not one particular company. So therefore, I urge all of you to spread the word, and whatever we can do from the government, maybe not mandating thoda shayad zyada ho jayega, but otherwise, I think we can definitely urge, we can definitely implore that all the new entrepreneurs should join the Chamber of Commerce and should definitely, become more and more actively engaged. I'm sure out of the 30,000 plus that you have, sir, not many of them are active, I'm very confident. उसमें शायद 10% लोग शायद एक्टिव रहेंगे, बाकी लोग पैसिव रहेंगे. तो मैं तो ये कहता हूँ कि आप उनको भी एक्टिव करो. Please activate them also, engage with them more, and definitely, the power of collective is always greater than singular. So most certainly, I think it's important that you guys work together, talk to the government more often, and like you pointed out, I think what's more important, is that the government listens and the government responds when you have a challenge. Now, I don't think, every time I meet an entrepreneur from the north of India, दिल्ली में, बॉम्बे में, कहीं और, वो लोग बस यही कहते हैं कि कोविड के टाइम जो आपके गवर्नमेंट ने किया, इतना इजी बना दिया हमारे लिए passes या to run our industry. No state in the country has done that kind of, out of the way support, and I thank Jayesh Ranjan and my entire team for that, because I think the credit goes to my team, led by Jayesh Ranjan, who have been extremely agile, क्योंकि कोविड हम सबके लिए हैरान की बात थी, क्योंकि दुनिया में हमने कभी ऐसा देखा ही नहीं था. तो जब कोविड आई, all of us were taken by surprise, but I think how swiftly we reacted, how ably we reacted, and how we were able to hold your hand and walk you through the vagaries of the lockdowns, etc., is what's very, very important. So once again, without taking too much of your time, I congratulate all the award winners. I thank the jury for choosing very, very wisely, and I thank all the members of FTCCI for joining us, and I thank the office bearers of FTCCI for inviting me. Jai Telangana, Jai Hind.